The reason I point out the refs, it's not because the refs shouldn't be making those calls. It's like if you call 2 penalties all game, don't flagrantly call them all in the red zone, seemingly to hand the Rams the game. I mean, that's what it felt like. You called 6 penalties in under 2 minutes when you call 2 penalties all game, so you're just messing with the rhythm of the game, and then I called a few people I know who are refs, and they're like, "If you're gonna ref a game, you have to stay consistent and make the same calls throughout the entire game." They didn't do that. The holding call they called on 3rd and goal was clearly ticky tack, wasn't bad at all. I'm like, if you want to point out the calls before, sure. But at the same time, don't call those penalties under 2 minutes when refs are notorious for swallowing their whistle in the last 2 minutes of a playoff game. I mean, I remember San Francisco versus the Atlanta Falcons. Tony Gonzalez got absolutely mugged in the end zone in that game. Refs didn't call anything.
Another prime example is the PI call in the Saints and Rams game 4 years ago.
Yeah, the guy tackles him before the ball gets there, and it sends the Rams to the Super Bowl, and then we get one of the most boring Super Bowls in NFL history.
Yeah. I think the one that made me the most upset was that Logan Thomas call because it's third down. Matt Stafford had two terrible balls prior to it. That call changed the momentum of the game almost instantly because it would have been fourth down, which means they probably would have to pass it because they couldn't get shit done running the ball.
I think they kick a field goal because they had 3 timeouts, and then it would have been, like, a minute 40 left on the clock, so with the way their defense was playing and it vice versa how the Bengals offensive line, I think the Rams probably would have had to settle for a field goal because Matt Stafford had just missed Van Jefferson. If you didn't see it, he missed him wide open in the back of the end zone. I remember once upon a time there, Jared Goff missed Brandon Cooks in double coverage in the end zone, and people were ripping Jared Goff like, "Oh, that's the reason he lost the game. That's terrible." Well, Matt Stafford missed Van Jefferson wide open in the back of the end zone. It's like, yeah, of course you can throw it to Cooper Cup when he's one on one in the red zone. It's the best receiver in the NFL.
Yeah. And then the thing that made me even more upset is they continue to, you know, now it's a first down and they're calling one penalty after another. It's like, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist when it comes to the NFL, but if you thought the NFL was rigged, if you watch the last 2 minutes of that game, you're almost convinced at that point. Cause I was like, okay, just let the Rams fucking score at this point.